Hello there everybody and welcome back to Theory Time, where I literally don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so in the previous episode of Umineko, quite a bit happened. I kind of went beyond my recording schedule, but I enjoyed every bit of it. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is Angie. The whole thing opened up with Angie, and she was talking to the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, and something happened. She accepted their existence, but she still denied, magic and all that. So that makes me wonder, is this exclusive only to Angie, or I don't know, can we say the same thing is happening to Battler? Because technically he's denying witches, but I don't know. I wonder if that would actually, because the weird thing is, I like Beatrice. I hate the fact that she's so cruel and all that, but I want to believe that, there can be some sort of good from Beatrice, I don't know, maybe I'm just being too optimistic, or I don't know. Because like I said a while back, I liked the interactions between Beatrice and Battler. And honestly, I would like to see more of that. But, I don't know. The next thing that happened, oh, good lord, Kinzo's, announcement. Holy shit. Okay, so, introduced to another of the 72 demons, Gop. Am I pronouncing that right? Because I don't want to say Gap, because I might be copyright infringement. I'm just going to say Gop. So, the fuck is up with her way of dressing, good lord. And got ourselves the first Twilight. All the victims, half of their faces were pretty much destroyed. Essentially. So that makes me wonder about the actual murder weapon. Originally, my first thought was that whoever the culprit is, used a gun of sorts, because we know that there are guns in the area, but I don't. How would they describe it? It looked like they were. I don't know if it described the. I can't remember if it described the faces as smashed or blasted, but I'm going to assume smashed. So I don't think I can assume it was a gun that was used. But I wonder, because like I said, I don't believe it was Kinzo. I'm going to keep on saying, until it is stated in red, I'm going to stick with Battler's theory that Kinzo is already dead. And that the culprit is possibly masquerading as Kinzo, or something of the sort. But then again, if somebody is actually masquerading as Kinzo, now that I think about it, what about Nanjo and Genji? Would that mean that technically they are accomplices, or would they just be fooled by it? I would think possibly I would think that they are accomplices. I don't know. And the thing is, I don't want to, assume anything out of Nanjo or Genji, but that's just the first thing that comes to mind. Anyway, that's really the only thing I could possibly think of at the moment. I haven't had really time to analyze my previous video as much as I would like to, but that's pretty much what I've got at the moment. Sorry about that, and anyway, on to the video. Hello there everybody, it's and welcome back to Umineko. Holy shit, yesterday, or what the fuck am I talking about yesterday? Holy crap, the last video was amazing. Well, disturbing, but holy shit, there was a lot happened. We got to meet the new demon, Gop. Good lord, the fuck is up with her outfit? Anyway, let's jump right back in. Wait, I thought you were supposed to be dead. What the shit? Silent, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit. And the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, it became more painful for her the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she had been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, at least get on the sofa. Even though I always know that, if I naively try and close my eyes for just a second, and end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed against it hurt a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. Oh yeah, totally. You'd see an embarrassing mark. Might see a little bit of flesh, possibly, I don't know. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face for the time being, trying to smooth it over. Oh! Wait, the tea party? I wonder where this is. So we're back here again suddenly? There we go. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light. But even if I looked up at the ceiling, or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, patter, patter, she could hear footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in a darkness like this, she started in the direction she could hear the footsteps from. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. Sakutaro? It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart.
Uryu.
The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor, as though it was been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫? まだ痛い?
ありがとう、僕。ここはどこ? すごく寒いわ。
こっちへ来て。ここにいちゃいけない。
That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. I didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, Rosa dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this is a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. She couldn't even really feel like she was running and moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal feeling. So even though I was running, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance, and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
Uryu. 大丈夫?
ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When that kid said that, the infantile word, Uryu, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so frankly.
ごめんなさい。その、うりゅうという口癖をやめてもらえる?
Uryu.
ちょっと、やめてって言ってるでしょ。
ごめんなさい。
I had the feeling that this child's words of apology made me feel a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around this child, my head hurts. It's almost like I freaking killed him.
大丈夫？早く行こう。ここは行っちゃダメ。
どうしてここにいちゃダメなの？ねえ、ここはどこ？あなたは誰？あなたのママはどこ？
Oh, here it comes.
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。
That child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと忘れちゃった？ママが僕を作ったんだよ。
ちょっと冗談はやめて。私の子供はマリアだけよ。そう。マリアはどこ？マリアはどこなの？マリア！
I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me.
マリアはいるけど、今はマリアじゃない。今は会わない方がいいの。その方がママのためだし、マリアのためなの。マリアのためにも逃げて。
何を言ってるの？マリアはどこ？マリア！返事をして！
マリアに見つかっちゃう。早くこっちに来て、ママ！
That child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped walking.
話してよ。大体あなたは誰よ？あなたにママなんて言われる覚えはないわよ。
Oh boy.
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。忘れちゃったの？マリアのバースデープレゼントにするために僕を手作りしてくれたの忘れちゃったの？
あなたまさかマリアの作太郎？
ママに作ってもらったライオンのぬいぐるみだよ。
A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there, and deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see through to the other side.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？大丈夫？どうしたの？
Sakataro also noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. But in my eyes, it felt like I had sustained that injury because he had grabbed my hand. Whether there was malice in him or not, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly became eerie.
あっちへ行って。あなたなんか知らないわ。作太郎は気持ち悪い下手くそなぬいぐるみでしょ。
God damn it, Rosa.
私は知らないわよ。ママなんかじゃないわよ。あっちへ行って消えて。
Slowly, the base of Sakataro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured out. Only an empty blackness peeked out. Whoa. Then from the insides of the gash, Cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. There was only crumpled yellow cloth, and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion, stuffed animal. Without a doubt. It was the remains of the Sakotaro stuffed animal I had torn apart on that day, overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Like a flood from a broken dam, or like a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Maria's voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. A mother's desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her and apologize. Actually, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized for that crying. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. Since I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly, and then burst. After all, she didn't make up with me after I apologized, and there was nothing else I could do now, and it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she was too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she couldn't make any friends and is treated like a weirdo. This is a good opportunity for instructive guidance. Go fuck yourself. It's not like I was pampered all the time myself. Things eventually break, are stolen, are broken. Even I had lots of toys and treasure stolen, broken, made fun of, and thrown away by my brothers and sister and father and mother. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents. Throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. It's because I held it back that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. At that time, I felt something strange. The same feeling as when you lose a tool recklessly and it finally breaks so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I had just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So I looked at my hand. From my wrists onwards, my hands broke off, splintered and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. But no, as though all of me from the wrists onwards had suddenly become ceramic and had broken and fallen. They had gotten covered with cracks because I had hit Maria too much and had fallen off. I forgot what the name of the soundtrack song is, but it sounds really good. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. Kind of fitting considering you use those hands mostly for beating your child. Oh! Hello, Maria. Okay, to kind of differentiate it, I'm going to pronounce witch Maria as Maria and normal Maria as Maria, you know? Just to kind of... It feels weird saying Maria, but then there's Maria. I don't know, it seems kind of weird. If it annoys you guys, please tell me. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke that with a very cold voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head, where they had been defending against my barrage. Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Whew. Hey, Beatrice.
絵本を見る。温かい食事を作ることのできる腕も残してもよい。
ママはマリアの頭を撫でるより叩く方が多いよ。
Ain't that the freaking truth?
絵本なんかめくってくれない。ご飯だって作ってくれない。マリアが自分で買いに行くの。でも同じお店に何度も行っちゃいけないし、顔を覚えられてもいけない。おまわりさんに話しかけてもいけない。なんで？どうして？マリアが悪いの？マリアはママに撫でてもらったり、絵本を読んでもらったり、一緒にご飯を食べたりしちゃいけないの？どうして？どうして？マリア悪くないよ。マリア悪くない。ママが悪い。ママが悪い。ママは一緒に遊んでくれないけど、サク太郎は一緒に遊んでくれた。本も読んでくれた。テレビも見てくれた。一緒にご飯も食べてくれた。ママよりもっともっと大切な友達だったのに。
悪かったと思ってるわ。でも仕方ないでしょ。ママは仕事で忙しいのよ。仕事で。
Stop lying!
ママの仕事が忙しいのは知ってるでしょ。仕方ないのよ。仕方ない。
そう、これは仕方なき。そなたの娘は傷つ、心を引き裂かれ、涙に血を浮かべることさえ、これは仕方なき。なれば今この場にてこのようなることになるもまた、すべては仕方なきこと。さあマリア、母を名乗った女の言い分は以上だ。許せ、否、無罪、はたまた有罪か。
許せない。ママは有罪だ。サク太郎にママがしたのと同じ目に遭わせてやる。ママを首の縫い目のところから引き裂いて中の綿をぶちまけてやる。
Good lord! Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, invisible massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she had torn Sakataro apart. From the stuffed animal's perspective, her arms must certainly be this massive. So I could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck strongly into the base of my neck, and I heard the skin tearing with my own ears. Then as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakataro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes. But in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red blood. It was something black, filthy and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside her body instead.
これはすごい。醜い。なんと汚らわしき中身。見事であったぞマリア。さあどうか。そなたの復讐、これにて十分。そなたは母を許せる。否、無罪、有罪か。
許せない。まだまだ許せない。有罪だ。
When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped out and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant.
自らの深き罪を思い出す。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。そなたがどれほどの罪を犯したのか。
もしもし、ママなの？ママは何時に帰ってくるの？
ごめんなさいね。今日も仕事が忙しくて泊まりになってしまう。
またお仕事でお泊まり？ママのお仕事、今日も大変だね。
本当に忙しいの。もうずっと会社に缶詰よ。外の空気も吸えやしないわ。ママの仕事は早く終わらすだけじゃダメなの。より良いデザインをあげないと次から仕事をもらえない大変な仕事なの。だからどうしても時間がかかっちゃう。
うん、わかってるよ。マリア、いい子でお留守番してるから、お仕事いっぱい頑張って早く終わらせてお家に帰ってきてね。
ママのお仕事を分かってくれてありがとう。明日美味しいケーキを買って帰ることを約束するわ。
ケーキいらないよ。ケーキ屋さんによって遅くなるより、その分ちょっとでも早くママが帰ってくる方が嬉しい。
大丈夫よ。早く帰ってくるわ。約束する。だから美味しいケーキを2人で食べて、美味しい紅茶を2人で飲んで、一緒に新しい絵本を読みましょう。この間買った狼の羊のパズルで遊びましょうね。
Wait. The wolves and sheep puzzle. Didn't Beatrice introduce that? Or am I thinking later?
約束よ。
約束。待ってるね。お仕事頑張ってね、ママ。
もう寂しい話では互いを思い合う良き親子愛ではない。何か問題があるというのか、マリア、そしてローザ。
その約束は私はちゃんと守ったはずよ。次の日の夕方に約束通りケーキを買っていつもより早い帰宅をしたはずよ。
マリアは知ってたよ。あの日の夕方ね、ママ宛てに着払いの荷物が来たけど、お財布の中のお金が足りなかったから、ママにどうしようって相談したくて会社に電話したの。特別な時以外はかけちゃダメって言われて、ママのお仕事の大切なものだったら悪いしと思って電話したの。そしたらママはお休みだって言われた。
God damn it, Mom. Frickin' Rosa.
その日はずっと前からお休みに決まってて、遠くへ遊びに行っているって言われたの。マリアは知ってたよ。ママが嘘をついてるってずっと知ってた。でもね、作太郎がそうじゃないってマリアを叱ってくれたの。ママは毎日お仕事でとても大変。マリアを放っておいて遊んでるはずなんてないって。ママがお休みって言った人はきっと何か勘違いして言ってしまったんだよって。作太郎がそう言うんだもん。マリアは信じたよ。マリアは信じた。ママ大好き、ママ大好き。もちろんママだってマリアを愛してる、愛してるって。
ええ、 私もよ。愛してるわ、マリア。
Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then, she set the receiver on the bedside phone. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below.
娘さんに旅行って話してないんですか？
行くって言って前にうるさかったんで、以来言わないことにしてるんです。その方が面倒がなくていいんで。
Wow.
娘さんが気になるのは無理に日程を組まなくてもよかったじゃありませんか。
You forced.
でもそれじゃいつまでたっても予定が合わないし。それは気にしないでって言ったでしょ。
The slender, middle-aged man clad in a white robe gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action.
もう娘の話はなしにして。せっかくの上等なワインが台無しよ。
私はあなたに一人の人間としても女性としても魅力を感じています。
Am I imagining things that voice slightly sounds familiar? Maybe I'm wrong.
ですが、だからこそあなたの親子の事情に無理を強いてまでこうして時間を割くのは申し訳ないと感じています。
私と娘の事情は気にしないでくださいっていつも言ってるじゃないですか。あなたと二人きりの時に娘の話はしないようにしているでしょ。電話だって下のロビーでうるさい酔っ払いがバカ笑いしてなければここではかけなかった。
ローザさん、こういう唐突な日程での旅行は娘さんのためにも今後は少し考えませんか？互いの日程があった時だけでいいじゃありませんか。
This guy gets it, okay.
それじゃ全然日程が合わないじゃないですか。私はいつだって一緒にいたいのに。
それは子供の恋愛の仕方です。大人同士の恋愛はもう少しストイックであるべきですよ。ローザさんと一緒にいられる時間が長く取れないことは僕も寂しいです。ですがその限られた時間と機会で僕たちは十分に大人の恋愛を楽しめていると思いますよ。
それはもっと娘と一緒にいろと、女でなく母でいろということですか？
あなただって望んでいることでしょう。娘さんと一緒にゆっくり過ごしたいとあなただって思っているはずだ。僕は逃げません。僕との時間を優先するために娘さんを犠牲にするのは気の毒だと申し上げたいのです。
奥さんとのより戻したんですか？
What?
別れるのが嫌になったんですね。
Whoa, 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 whoa! Rosa, what the fuck?
妻の話はしたくない。あなたが娘さんの話をしたくないのと同じです。
Okay, did not... Fuck, dude!
子連れの女は面倒だって思ったんでしょう。
You have it. Oh my god. And to pile on top of the terrible things, we have an affair added to the list. Great! Ugh.
そんなこと今までに一度も言ったことはありませんよ。
みんな子連れだと分かると手のひらを返す。
Well, most of them are just assholes for doing that.
あの子の養育費は気にしなくていいからと言ってもみんな手のひらを返す。あなたは娘のことを理解してくれてると思ったのに、やっぱり子連れだと嫌なんですね。
そ そうは言っていません。ローザさんのことを嫌いになってなどいませんよ。私が言いたいのは、娘さんをもっと大事にしなさい。あなた自身もそれを望んでいるはずだ。だから娘さんに嘘をついて自らを傷つけてほしくない。そう言ってるだけなんです。
嘘つき。私のことが面倒になっただけ。そうでしょ。
Rosa, what the fuck?
そんなことは言っていない。
いいえ、わかるの。私にはわかるわ。あの子を理由に何度も捨てられた私だからわかるの。雰囲気でわかるわ。そうよ、あなたもそう。他の男たちと一緒。子連れの女は嫌なのよ。バツイチは嫌なのよ。面倒なのよ。知らない男と作った子供の親になんかなりたくないんでしょ。ええ、そうよね。その気持ちすっごいわかるわ。
I don't think you do.
子連れの男と付き合ったことがあるけど、その気持ちすっごいわかったの。
What?
だから娘を理解してくれるあなたとなら一緒になれるって信じたのに。そうよ、あんたなんて邪魔だったのよ。
What?
あんたさえいなければ私はとっくに女としての幸せをつかめたのよ。
Rosa, what the fuck?
あんたの存在が私の幸せをいつも邪魔するのよ。私だってあんたなんか産みたくなかったのよ。
Okay, go fuck yourself. I hope you die a horrible death.
いいえ、違うわ。あんたと一緒に幸せな家庭を築けたらと思ったわよ。でもあんたが生まれる直前にあいつは蒸発した。私と温かい家庭を築くと言って私を騙し、永遠に私の前から消え去ったわ。
Well, I think we can all agree that guy's an asshole for doing that, honestly. Anybody that does that is a friggin' asshole.
残ったのはあんただけ。愛も思い出も何もない。あの男は今どこへ。私との日々を温かな思い出に勝手に変えて新しい恋人に出会ったかもしれない。そして今度こそ幸せな家庭を築けたかもしれない。そして私はあんたがいる。
I would expect you to at least be happy that you have a daughter.
恋も探せない。男は好きに女を渡り歩いて武勇伝気取り。
That's the sad truth, unfortunately.
なのに女にも私にはあんたがいる。あんたという重しがいるのよ。
Who would consider their child a weight?
あんたのせいで私は恋を探せない。愛が得られない。一人で生きていくしかない。いいえ、それさえも許されてないわ。私には一人で酔いつぶれたい夜さえ許されていない。あんたは誰？何者？私の人生を台無しにして私の新しい人生さえ許してくれないあんたは私の人生の何者なのよ。死ね！消えろ！あんたなんか生まれてきた時から大嫌い。
Okay. Maria?
あんたがお腹の中にいた頃から大嫌いだった。
Keep piling it on, keep piling it on. We're getting ready for possibly a very brutal death.
それを前向きに受け入れようと頑張って良き母を演じてきたわ。私は頑張った。
Your best was awful.
同世代の女性たちが独身を謳歌し、時に恋に遊び、あるいは愛に結ばれるのを横目に見ながら、私は 女と母の二足のわらじを吐き続けたわ。その私の苦労を誰がねぎらったの？誰も褒めない、称えない。自業自得、気持ちはいいや。負け組の遠吠え、無な小娘がいい。こっちから願い下げよう、ケツの青い若造どもが。必死だった私はさぞかし簡単に落ちる女に見えたろうさ。必死だったわよ。まだまだ恋をしたい年頃の私が日々を仕事と育児で忙殺されていき、このまま老いてこのまま人生を終えるだろうと悟った時、どれほど必死だったか想像もつかないでしょうよ。あんたの本当の父親ももちろん憎いわよ。
Well, you actually have a good enough reason to hate the real father, honestly.
でも破局を迎えた責任は私と彼に半々だわ。私にも逃げられるだけのしつこさがあったのかもしれない。でもその後の破局は全部あんたのせい。私はあんたにそれをなじったことはあったないでしょ。男に逃げられて酔いつぶれたいその次の日があんたの授業参加。泣き晴らした目を発言賞でごまかして、あんたが的外れな発言をしてクラス中から推奨されてた時の私の気持ちなんてあんたどころか世界中の誰にもわからないでしょうよ。あんたが嫌い、大嫌い。そしてこれまでにあんたを本当に愛したことなんて。
Keep digging your grave, bitch. Maria's face was still stiff. If the words really had been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained with red with fresh blood by now. Even after gaining the power of a witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Sakataro, she couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth. Oh, you and I. Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Beatrice.
ああ、情欲に溺れた女のなんと醜きことか。
Can I ask both of you witches to kind of double team, kind of taking turns killing her, please?
これがこの女の本性。邪悪を極めし千年の魔女のわらわとて見るに耐えぬことこの上なし。
Congratulations, Rosa, you just disgusted Beatrice.
ああ、マリアよ。今こそ決別の時。そなたの母を名乗った醜き肉の塊を打ち砕け。そなたの無垢なる魂、親子なる鎖にてこれ以上束縛される意味はなし。自らの魂、自らの手で今こそ解放せよ。そなたは自らを守る牙と爪を今こそ手に入れたのだ。
Jeez.
マリアを苦しめてきた日々を今こそ思い知らせてやる。苦しみの日々を今こそ復讐してやる。
その私を苦しめてきたのはあんたじゃない。私が復讐したいくらいよ。あんたが生まれる前にそうすればよかった。あんたなんか生まなければよかった。消えてしまえ。
As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word spit, her body was crushed. In an instant, it was turned into something similar to a raw, blood-stained towel.
潰れてしまえ。許せない、許せない。
クズがふさわしい姿。
even though Rosa's waist and below was standing normally. Just the upper half of her body was pinched, and that extreme difference was bizarre. Then she fell over, but the instant she fell, her body was restored. You have my permission to go Avatress on this bitch.
怒りと悲しみの生産の時、ぶつける、吐き出せ。そなたの胸に打ち込まれたくさびをすべて押し出し、跳ね返せ。
Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread-eagled, a neat, perfect circle was cut into her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they were completely indistinguishable. That might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today. Beata waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently in apparent pain. And once again, she spat out curses, rejecting Maria. Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness? Yes. Was she taken over by an indescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness. And yet it was a reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she was thought of as a burden. But even though she herself had known that, she did not believe it. She had believed that her mother loved her, and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have made her doubt this. Trusting and clinging to her mother's love. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama, and wanted to return to the days when she believed that Mama loved her. So she howled. She brought everything to nothing. She didn't accept it. She denied it. She denied the black witch that had made her mother say things like that. And the part of herself that couldn't forgive that mother. But she couldn't deny it. This is reality, fact, truth, the answer. Without any mistake, this is certain reality. Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over in the dark world that reflected her heart. The ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make one want to cover their ears, rang out. Each time, Beatrice revived Rosa. She dragged her back into the world of endless torture, which she could not be escaped from even by death. This was the true deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will. because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, she asked the same question to Maria.
気は晴れたかマリア。そなたの怒り母を許せるの？
許せるものか、許せるものか。許さない、許さない。マリアの苦しみのすべてを教えてやる。もっともっと教えてやる。まだまだ足りない、全然足りない。
Might I suggest a death for every lie that her mother told her?
生まれた時から、生まれる前から。
Oh, even better.
蔑まれてきたこの怒りと悲しみがどうしても消せないの。
Who knows, maybe I'm being tainted by the witches and I'm enjoying this death scene. I don't know. I hate you too. Revive over and over again. Return to a meat lump over and over again. In various ways, she crushed, smashed, beat, tore to bits. Flying blood spatter and flesh turned the once pitch-black world into a world with mixed red and black. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. It was as though she was spitting out all the suppressed rage from the time of her birth until today. That all became poison to her heart. Then would the repeated murder of her mother purify her soul? Would even this wasteful murder save her soul, at least a little bit? This endless torture might have become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she had finally been able to regain her smile.
私の痛みがこの程度ではないことを。どうしたの？もう笑わないの？笑ってみせろよ。
Half of her skull collapsed. Eyeballs flew out and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered. Her whole chest along with her ribs turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All of them writhed, looking like an impure creature. Rosa couldn't let out a laughing voice anymore, but her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh which was covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next, I'll erase that laughing face. I'll erase it. I'll crush it. I'll tear it to bits. Jesus!
どうしたのママ？起きてよ。絵本を読んでよ。お散歩に行こうよ。
Holy shit!
愛してるって言ってよ。次の日曜日の約束をしようよ。お買い物に行こう。映画に行こう。
That's the lovely face of a witch, isn't it?
そしてその約束をどうせ破るんだよ。楽しいねママ。楽しいね。マリアは今ママと遊んでるんだね。
Oh, good lord. They must have had a heyday whenever they tried making this into the animated... I don't know if they even animated this, but I imagine they did with such an important scene like this. They must have had a heyday animating this.
そうだ、そなたは今母と遊んでいるのだ。じゃれているのだ。どうか今の感情は怒りでも悲しみでも苦しみでもないはず。
うん、そうだね。わかるよベアトリーチェ。私は今すっごく楽しいよ。ママと遊んでるんだもん。すっごく楽しい。 そしてママを何度も何度も殺しているのに魔法一つで好きなだけ生き返らせられる。おもちゃは壊したら直せないから大事にした。でも治るおもちゃなら何度でも壊したい。
Holy shit, Maria! And
でも作太郎は治らないんだね。
oh,
治せないんだね。作ったママが産んだママが認めないから。私もママに認められてないんだね。だから壊れたマリアももう治らないんだね。楽しくなったらなぜかママが許せる気がしてきたの。ねえベアと、これはとっても不思議な感情。どうしてマリアはママを許せる気持ちになってきたの？
生き死にを自由にできる力を得た魔女のみがたどり着く達観の境地。いつでも殺せる。必要なら蘇らせる。面倒ならまた殺せばいい。それをいつでも指一本鳴らすだけでできることを知ったなら、人の生みざれるその全ては聞き流すに等しい虫の声以下。そなたに母を許そうという感情が芽生え、そなたが母の愛に目覚めたからではない。そなたが今こそ真の魔女の世界の入り口に立ったからだ。ようこそマリア、深淵そして甘美なる魔女の世界へ。
なったんだ。マリアはもうマリアじゃない。まだ見習いかもしれないけれど人間の世界を超えた。私はもう原初の魔女見習いマリアなんだ。もう私は何も悔しくない、悲しくない。ママ、許してあげるよ。きっと私はママを許せる。もうちょっとしたら許せると思うの。だって魔女だから。
damn! Maria probably would forgive her mother eventually, after brutally murdering her countless times. Graciously. Damn! That was brutal.
でけえな、今の落雷は。近いんじゃねえか？
みたいだね。いくつになっても落雷にはビクッとさせられるね。
Of course, thunder's freaky. It's unexpected, too. Balor was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it. Also, side note, I know I did that theory time, but another thing I should have added to the theory time thoughts that at the beginning of this video. I don't think a gun could have been used, because... Oh, wait. Wouldn't anybody be able to hear them, honestly? I think they would. Anyway.
なんだよ、バトラが騒がしくしてるからマリアが起きちゃったじゃねえか。ごめんなマリア、バトラが騒がしくて。
なんだよ、俺のせいかよ。
悪いな、マリア。寝てていいぞ。おやすみな。
Maria was a bit hazy with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep and couldn't think straight.
おお、もういい。寝ない。
いいから寝てろって。まだ寝ぼけてるぜ。
寝ぼけてない。
Sorry.
なんだよ。もろに寝ぼけてるじゃねえか。寝てろ寝てろおい。
寝ぼけてない。寝ぼけてない。
よせってバカバトラー。もう寝起きのこの機嫌を悪くするなんてバカだな。
寝ぼけてない。寝ぼけてないもん。
Sorry.
Hmm. わかってるよ、マリアちゃん。寝ぼけてなんかないよ。だから落ち着いて。
寝ぼけてないもん。寝ぼけてないもん。
Sorry, jeez, dude. It was because of her dubious mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Balor had only been trying to tease her a bit, so he was confused at this extreme overreaction. George held her head trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't quelled easily. Balor and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying, it's your fault too.
こら、二人とも静かにして。ジェシカちゃん、ポットにまだお湯があったよね。お茶でも入れてあげてくれる？落ち着いた？マリアちゃん。
That sounded like I'm sorry, that sounded like a growl for a second. It looked like her tantrum was dying down bit by bit. But she still glared at Balor, who had made fun of her with sharp eyes.
バトラ君もふざけて言っただけなんだよ。マリアちゃんが寝ぼけてるなんて思ってないよ。だから落ち着いて。ね。
George noticed. Maria was staring at Balor with incredible eyes. And despite having just displayed all that emotion, she laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laughing, it seemed more like she was muttering while considering, or else counting each heh. As though each time she said heh, something brutal would happen over and over. George felt something creepy for just an instant. But he couldn't notice the madness that peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes for only a moment. After he remained shocked for a short period of time, Maria stopped her bizarre quiet laugh and pushed George's arm aside as though telling him to let go.
Oh, 許す。
そう。マリアちゃんは偉いな。バトラ君、マリアちゃんが許してくれたよ。仲直りして。ああ、悪いな、からかって。許してくれ。
ほら、マリ、仲直りの印にカフェオレ作ってやったぜ。砂糖いっぱい入ってるから甘いぜ。
いらない。でも許すよ。魔女だからね。
Okay. One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice. But it was only for a very short time, so Balor and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that, probably. It had only looked that way when the lightning lit her cheek with a pale white light for an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. It was already past 10:30, late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that this time wasn't very peaceful at all. Then, along with a clearly unrestful knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices. That clearly told them that this was an abnormal situation.
お子様方、いらっしゃいますか？いらっしゃいますか？ゴーダでございます。
熊沢でございますよ。どうしたものやら、どうしたものやら。
When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. It looked like they had dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella.
どうした よ二人とも。
Of course, now that I think about it, they probably wouldn't be able to hear gunshots during a typhoon, and they're in a different house. Or maybe that's wishful, or I don't know.
何があったんだ。
それが親方様が旦那様が皆
Oh, that was abrupt. Oh, there's that nice little tune, too. Well, technically it's 10:32, but okay. I'll let you slip by. And that's where we're going to end the video. That was interesting. So Rosa, okay, obviously Rosa's dead, but for some reason we got a glimpse, and I'm guessing she was dragged into the meta world. I believe that's what you got. I think that's what it's referred to. But good lord, your freaking outfit. Ugh. And there she was tortured repeatedly. Well, yeah, I think it's either I'm becoming too numb to the deaths or I'm starting to enjoy the sick torture. I'm pretty sure it's the first one. I don't know. Holy crap, Maria. I'm not gonna lie, that face really freaked me out there. I mean, just damn. Oh well. I'm gonna leave this here. That was freaky. That was very, very freaky. And I'm going to leave, and I'm just gonna leave this here. You got everything you deserved. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, but you guys, I think one of the comments did kind of mention that she's pretty much doing what was sort of done to her, but I think what she's doing is significantly worse. I don't know, it's just how she was raised. But, Rosa, you're freaking selfish. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this here, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.